All right, welcome everyone. It is Thursday the 10th of December 2020. We're finally finishing this year. Not long yet, and super happy to be with you tonight with our whole wellness community to offer you some gift ideas for Christmas. So, and not just for Christmas, but in general, to show you how you can make conscious and beautiful and loving gifts for your community. Natural products, natural solutions, healthy, little food items and snacks and treats. We've created a beautiful PDF. I say we, Tara, the other Tara, has created a beautiful ebook for you all that you'll receive with this recording. And yeah, without further ado, let's kick off. I think we're beginning with Rachel. Rachel's gonna share the first recipe with us.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming tonight. So mine's actually more, I don't know if you can see, mine's more of a treat. Mine's more of a treat than a gift that you might eat yourself before you actually get to give to anybody else. So these are the chocolate, they're raw chocolate vegan energy balls. They're dairy free and they're free from refined sugar as well. So the recipe, I've actually made these today, so I can be more specific with the recipe. In the ebook, I just use these cups, and my cup is just basically one of these glasses. It's not the real measurement of a cup, it's just what I use. And I usually use equal measurements of nuts and then dates in one of those cups, and that usually works. But today, if you wanted to take a note of the exact measurements, which I did do today, the exact weights, it's 200 grams of pecan nuts. You can also use walnuts, or sunflower seeds is really nice as well if you want to avoid nuts, or you've got someone who's got a nut allergy. And so basically what you do is you take your nuts and you put them into the blender, and you just blend them up until they go into like a fine kind of flour type consistency. And then you take a cup of medjool dates, and they have to be medjool dates. They're so much better than just normal dates. They're so much more chocolatey and succulent and lovely. So I used 10 medjool dates today in this recipe. And then you add in the dates to the nuts. This is such a simple recipe. It's so easy, which is why I do it. So you add in your dates to the nuts. And then you add in 4 tablespoons of cacao. And then if you want to, you can add in some desiccated coconut as well, but I didn't add that into these ones today. And some people actually don't like that, so that's optional. And if you add in the coconut, it would also be 4 tablespoons. And then I add in a pinch of Himalayan salt as well, because it just brings out the flavor. Just that tiny little pinch of salt makes a whole lot of difference. And then I added in 6 drops of wild orange and 4 drops of ginger oil. So those are both the essential oils obviously going in. And then just a little splash of water. Be careful not to put too much water in, because if you put too much in, it just goes into a slop, and you don't want that. You want it to be more like a dough type mixture, so it's better to put less water in to start with and then add as you go. So a splash of water, you've got all your ingredients in there, you've got your oils in there, and then you just blend it up until it gets into like a dough-like consistency. And then you just take it out, and you take little spoon, I take like a tablespoonful and just roll it in my hands. And you could then actually afterwards, you could dip it into coconut or whatever you want to do, or melted chocolate or anything like that. Roll it into balls. That today made 14 balls, some bigger than others. And then you just put it in the fridge. You put them in the fridge to set for about 30 minutes, and then they're ready to eat. You can also put them in the freezer and keep them in the freezer if you wanted to make them early before Christmas and have them ready to just get out of the freezer for Christmas Day, for a treat on Christmas Day or Boxing Day. And I think that's it. And here's some I made earlier. I've always wanted to say that. I wish I could give you all one. Wish you could all have one. So that's it. simple and easy, and it's done. That took me 20 minutes to do that today, so really, really easy. And they taste so sweet, and there's no sugar. You can, if you want to, if you've got a really sweet tooth, you could add in some agave syrup, but the dates are so sweet, you actually don't need it at all. So it's just natural sugar in there, and the chocolate, the cacao, and then the wild orange is delicious, and the ginger just to give it that more Christmassy vibe as well. And you can obviously use different oils as well. You could maybe try with peppermint, or you could try with cinnamon if you like cinnamon. You know, there's lots of different oils you could use. So that's it, I think. Were there any questions?
They're so lovely, those balls. I love them.
Mm.
You could even use on guard, would be nice as well.
You could use On Guard, yeah. And they're a really good little snack to have on the go as well. And if you get that chocolate craving as well, but you know, you're trying to be good, it's actually a good, you know, a good sweet treat that you can have. It's not too bad for you.
I had a question. I never know how long these keep for. How long do you think they?
Usually I'd say up to a week. My husband eats them after that, but I'd say a week, they're fine. 7 days as long as they're in the fridge.
Yeah.
And in the freezer, you can keep them in the freezer for a month and they're still fine.
And do they actually do you need to defrost them?
Yeah, but you can just put them in. You can actually, they're not too bad if you can eat them from the freezer as well. They're quite nice actually. But yeah, I would you can put them in the fridge and just let them defrost in the fridge as well.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you. So I will now pass you over to the lovely Pernilla, who's just below me here. Don't know if she's below you. Thank you, Pernilla.
Great. Oh, can you hear me? Am I good? Yeah. I'm not on the big screen. Tara, you're on the big screen and I'm not. Oh, now Rachel is. How strange. Speaker view. No, I'm still not on there. Doesn't matter. I'll be little and I'll be looking at Rachel. Thank you, Rachel, for that. That was amazing. I have tried those balls and they are really amazing. So I can vouch for them, definitely. And I haven't tried with ginger, so I will definitely try that next time. Sounds delicious. So I am going to talk about a body scrub, a sugar scrub, which is super easy. It's so easy. It only has 3 ingredients. They usually, you know, there will be ingredients that you probably have at home. So it's really easy to whip up, and you can whip it up in just a few minutes. And I make quite a big pot when I do it in a mason jar. I think it's about 580 ml in one of these. And it probably will just cost you, like, I'll say between 5 and 10 euros, if that, depending on the oils that you use. And also if you use your glass pots, you know, jars that you have at home already, which is of course recommended, you know, to reuse what we have. So it's an amazing product. We have one on the go all year round, in different flavors and different smells. Of course, it helps to exfoliate your skin. It gets rid of dead skin cells, and it also moisturizes your body. So, you know, you put it on in the shower and you get out of the shower exfoliated and moisturized already, which is quite good. I love to put oil and lotion on my skin as well, but I'm also a busy mom. So before school run, I don't always have that luxury of the time. So then, you know, it's great to just come out of the shower and already be moisturized. And the oil's actually in there to stay, you know, the smell stays on your body for quite a while after. So it's really amazing. So the ingredients are organic sugar, organic almond oil. Don't have to be organic, of course, but I always prefer to use organic. You know, it's in line with doTERRA and my own values, and I just feel like I'm putting more love into the gift, you know, by making sure that you use organic products. I buy them from my local health food shop as well. And then essential oils, of course. And in this one, I've chosen rosemary and grapefruit. So they are both very uplifting, really rejuvenating, great for focus, great for the mind. So a great one to use in the morning when you get up to really get you ready for the day and give you that little extra boost and wake up. If you take showers in the evening, of course, you know, you can use any oils you like. Something like lavender and frankincense is a great combination before bed, or any of the relaxing ones, you know, cedarwood, geranium, anything like that. Anything goes, your favorite ones. But rosemary, of course, is great for the mind and the body. Increases focus, improves memory and concentration. I also use it in massage a lot. It's really helpful to soothe aching muscles. So it's a good one to put in an all over body scrub. It also helps to improve circulation and lymph flow as well. So it helps with detoxification. And also, of course, in this, you know, in the winter months, it's a great one to use when, you know, the circulation can be a little bit sluggish. So it's a great one to have. And then I use grapefruit. So like all the citruses, you know, it's really uplifting, really invigorating, and it's great at lifting your mood. Of course, grapefruit as well, you know, it has got a lot of cleansing properties. Like we take grapefruit internally, the fruit, or you can take the urn internally as well to help along detoxification processes in the body. It also helps to detoxify the skin in the same way. So it's a great one to use topically. It also improves the appearance of blemishes, and it also helps to keep the skin smooth. So it's a really nice combination. Actually, as well, grapefruit, I wanted to say, I always want to say something about the emotional benefits as well. It's the oil of honoring your body. So it's a really lovely one, again, to really take your time with intention to put on your body in the shower. It really helps you to respect and appreciate your physical body, or your, you know, your temple. So a great oil, you know, if there are any issues with body image, and yeah, just to helping you appreciate your physical body. Okay, so a great one. So I'm going to show you how easy it is. It's going to be a really quick demo because it's really super easy. And normally I don't use a recipe. I'm not very good with measuring and following recipes, which is why I'm not a very good baker. But I prefer to just put stuff in. But I do have a recipe for you because I know it's easier. So for a big batch like that, it's like 580 ml, a big one. You need half a cup of almond oil. I'm going to put the computer down a little bit so you can see. I can still see Rachel on the big screen. I think you can see it now. You won't see me. Right. Got a bowl like this. Okay. You need half a cup of almond oil. So I'm just going to measure that out. Where are the cups? Okay. Half a cup of almond oil. Put it in the bowl. And then you want to put the essential oils after, because it's a lot easier to mix well, to put them into the oil rather than do the sugar first, okay? So in a big batch like this, I'd use about 30 drops in total. So I'll do 15 each. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 15. And 15 of that. And I was looking at a lot of different recipes actually, and some recipes were saying to use a cup of almond oil to 2 cups of sugar, and some were saying just to use a quarter to every 2 cups. So it really, you know, it's just how you prefer the consistency of it as well, you know. I don't like it too runny. I also don't like it too coarse, you know. So I like the, you know, I feel like this is a good middle bit. And also it will melt a little bit when, you know, when the sugar melts into the oil. So it's better to start off with a little bit too coarse, and then it will go a little bit softer as well. Okay, so then you take 2 cups sugar. So I've got 1 cup. And you basically just stir it in. Okay. And 1 more. basically just stir, and that is it. That's how quick it is. It's amazing. And then you just put it into your containers of your choice. You know, it's nice to do some smaller ones for presents as well. Then you have two there in one go. And I'm also quite excited about this, like Rachel. I'm going to put the thing up. Here is one I prepared earlier. There it is. So, you know, it's nice. You can decorate them as you like. I got like a dehydrated orange on there and some labels, and, you know, you can write little personal messages on there and everything. So, yeah, it's a really nice and thoughtful gift, you know, that someone has thought about you and actually made something, you know, it's always a lot nicer. So, yeah, I think that's it. Has anyone got any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
I struggled with my own sugar scrub because obviously it melts in the shower.
Yeah.
So do you put it on dry before you shower? When you get in the shower, do you put it on dry skin or you put it on wet skin?
No, I put it on wet skin. Yeah, I put it on wet skin at the end. And then just, you know, like, yeah, make sure I keep it, you know, not too close to the water, and I have a lid that really closes, you know. That's why I like these jars as well, you know, because they do really close really good in between. Because if you get hot steam, of course, into them, then they will melt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question as well? Why salt? Why sugar and not salt?
You could use salt as well. You can use salt as well. You know, it's the same. It depends on what you like, and, you know, I like the sugar. It's a bit softer. You can use brown sugar, you can add the sugar, but, you know, it just feels a bit softer to me. And I actually use it on my face. It's soft enough and gentle enough to use on my face and my body, and I just prefer it. You know, it's really sweet and nice. But yeah, you can use salt as well, any salt, you know. Some people use Epsom salt as well, but then of course it's really coarse, so you have to be careful as well. Depends on your skin type and your preferences. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Good. Okay, so I will pass over to the lovely Tara in Ireland, who is now known as the ebook queen. And she's gonna talk about some foot balm, I believe, which I'm excited about because I've never done that before. So I'm handing over to you.
Thank you, Pernilla. That was awesome. I'm going to definitely try that. Hi, everyone. I'm Tara. I won't be doing a demo because I don't have any internet in my kitchen. So, and I didn't want to risk it. So I'm going to be talking about how to make a healing foot balm, but actually this could probably, well, this can be used as any kind of balm. So I tend to mix it up depending on how I want to use it. I very often use it as a lip balm or as a chest balm. And if you do make this, you'll see kind of why it's so versatile. So it's really, really easy to make. There's only 3 ingredients. We're using beeswax pellets, and then a carrier oil, and then your essential oils. So the recipe that I'm including in the ebook and I'm sharing today, you could probably double it because it only makes 2 kind of very small lip balm containers. But again, it's so quick to make. It literally takes less than a minute that if you don't have enough, you can always just mix some more up. So the reason why we're using beeswax, really, if you haven't used beeswax before, it's a really amazing product. It's packed full of goodness. So one of the main reasons that we want to use beeswax is because it protects our skin without clogging our pores. So it allows our skin to breathe, and it helps to just create a barrier. It's incredible for healing wounds, incredible for healing the skin and protecting the skin, and it's an anti-inflammatory as well. And it's packed full of vitamin A. So if you are using it on the feet, I feel like our feet are probably the most neglected part of our bodies. We tend to spend a lot of time moisturizing our face and our hands and our bodies, but there's so many reflex points on the feet, and making a balm for someone, especially if for somebody who might be in pain, or certain people don't like to use oils on the rest of their bodies, the feet are such a quick and easy way to kind of access the whole body. So depending on what essential oils you want to use in your balm, you can pretty much tailor it for it to be like a relaxing balm, or an energizing balm, or a pain balm. So we've got our beeswax in there, and then it's kind of up to you what kind of carrier oil you want to use. I like to use extra virgin olive oil sometimes, unrefined. So when you're using your carrier oils, it's important to choose oils that haven't been refined, so that they haven't been heated above a certain temperature, because they lose all of their healing properties once they've been heated. And extra virgin olive oil is incredible for pain, and it helps to balance the sebum in our skin. So it's really, really nourishing for our skin. It's quite thick, and obviously it has a slight odor. So if you didn't want to use the extra virgin olive oil, you could use coconut oil, or I like to use jojoba oil, because it's just really yummy, and it's not too greasy, and it's really easy to use, and you can pick it up in any health food store as well, and it's really moisturizing and antibacterial and antioxidant. So what you're going to do is get your beeswax. And what I wanted to say about the beeswax as well is I find it easier to use pellets, which are these kind of little tiny beeswax circles. You can sometimes buy the beeswax bars, but they're really hard to kind of cut up, so you could potentially grate it. But if you can get the beeswax pellets, I would recommend, just for ease. And you're gonna just make yourself a double boiler. So just boil up some hot water in a saucepan, get your empty bowl, pop 3 teaspoons of beeswax pellets, and just stir it until it melts. And it solidifies very, very quickly, the beeswax. You kind of have to have all of your ingredients ready, because it tends to harden quite quickly. And then add in your tablespoon of jojoba oil and kind of mix that in. Add in your essential oils. So I like to use geranium and frankincense, because first of all, geranium is incredible for the skin, even the feet. And it's really great oil for helping to reduce stress and anxiety. And frankincense is also an incredibly soothing oil, and it helps to regulate our breathing. So this could potentially be a good balm for somebody who struggles to get to sleep, or who suffers from anxiety during the day and starts to get kind of short of breath. Like I mentioned, you can use it on your chest as well. So I like to use 5 drops of each, but again, it's completely up to you how smelly you want it to be, how fragrant, sorry, instead of smelly, how fragrant you want it to be. And then that's it. You'll probably find as you're making it, it just solidifies. And then what I like to do is I just spoon it into little lip balm containers. But again, you could use a jar. You could make up a big kind of batch of this and use like a recycled jar and kind of wrap it with some nice ribbon. And again, think about the person that maybe you're making this for, and maybe, inquire as to what's going on in their lives at the moment, and then pick essential oils that might really help them. And this is a gift. I give this to all the people that end up buying essential oils for me. It's that easy to make, and I really love it. And it's just a really lovely thing. And you can use it on your face as well, sporadically. Because the beeswax isn't going to clog the pores, you're going to be able to use it in the winter, especially if you're somebody who goes out for kind of wintry walks or is swimming in the sea, like me. And I think that's it. Yeah, just double check. Yeah. If anyone doesn't have any questions, or if anyone does have any questions before I pass over to Aphrodite.
Could it be like a lip balm as well?
Yeah.
Tara? Could that act like lip balm and stuff?
It can be a lip balm, it could be a chest, it's just, I guess, a foot balm, great, but I've used it on my lips as well. It's just a body balm. I might just change the name. Yeah. And it's, I love mine. I make them all the time.
Thank you.
How much, hang on. Nikki is, how much beeswax? Like 1 pellet? No, so 3 teaspoons of pellets, Nikki. If you only did one, it would be like a teeny tiny amount. So yeah, 3 teaspoons of pellets. So it's about, I guess, Debbie, I'm going to be including all the information on how you can buy. So all of the stuff that we're talking about today, all of the kind of the cocoa butter and the shea butter and all of the products that we mentioned, it's all in the ebook. And there's resource links for you to be able to buy your beeswax and all of those kinds of things. Okay. Cool. Well, if no one else has any questions, over to you, Af.
Hi, everybody. Hi. Thank you, Tara, for that. I'm going to be making all of them over the Christmas break. Yeah, when we've got a bit more time. Okay, so I am going to be showing you something that, again, like everyone, it's really simple, but it's one of those things that, especially when you first start using the essential oils, that sometimes you might kind of get a bit scared to do, and then when you do it, you're like, oh my goodness, it's really easy. So what I'm making is, and I've set you up a little whole sheet and display. You can tell that I used to be a special needs teacher. This is how we used to display, make it very, you know, clear with the white sheet. So we're going to be making a 10 ml roller ball, and you can get these from lots of different websites, and Tara has popped in there. I've given you a link to a website which does really beautiful ones. So you've got ones which have got like little amethyst crystals in and different other crystals. So you can make the rollerball really quite special for the person that you're making it for, or for yourself. And especially if you know about crystals, then you can pick crystals that will help for different things for that person. So all you need is your 10 ml rollerball, you need your essential oils, and you need some carrier oil. I've got the fractionated coconut oil from doTERRA, but you can also use it in other oils. Of course, just make sure that if you're using almond oil, just make sure that the person hasn't got a nut allergy. So you just want to, that's something just to check in with. Okay, so let's go. I'm just going to show you how to make it. So I've decided to create a sleepy blend, so that you can use for going to bed, or just relaxing. And I always say the first thing that you want to do with the oils, the first thing if you ever want to make something like this, is to put the essential oils in first. And as we know, the oils work with our emotions, and they also work on an energetic level. So if we can also set an intention before we put the oil into the gift that we're making, where we're also, in a way, we're supercharging whatever that gift is. So I always like to think of the person who I'm making it for. So let's say I'm going to think of my sister. I'm going to make this for my sister. And I know that lavender oil is a really good oil for calming and to help to go to sleep. So that's what I'm going to be thinking when I'm actually making the oil. And it might sound a bit strange, but is it Tony Robbins that says, where attention, I love the saying, where attention goes, energy flows. So if we put our intention in there, then that's going to help to infuse what you're making. So I'm going to put the lavender oil in first, because that's going to be the main bulk of this. That's the one it's really calming, and I want it to smell a lot of the lavender. So I'm going to put 10 drops of lavender in. Just make sure you can see. And you can't help but when you're making it that, you know, you're thinking about these things anyway, because of the smells. It's so beautiful. So that's the lavender. Cedarwood also is a really beautiful calming oil, really grounding. So I'm going to put 5 drops of cedarwood. This one's a little bit thicker, so it takes a little bit of time. I was making an oil the other day, today, very similar to this one, and I added a drop of vetiver in. That takes ages because it's so thick. Yeah, I made it for my hairdresser. She liked it. As you can see, I cut my hair. Those of you know me. And then the last one is frankincense. Now, frankincense, I'm going to close it. I don't want the oil to evaporate. Frankincense, there's 2 oils. This is a really good top tip. There's 2 oils which help, if you're ever making an essential oil blend, 2 oils which help to bring the blend together, even if you just put 1 drop of it, and that's frankincense and grapefruit. This is something that I learned from an essential oil lady. I don't know if I can call her an essential oil lady, but she's someone who I went on a course with, who teaches about essential oils and how to use them for healing touch. So that's what she said, grapefruit and frankincense, even just putting a drop. But I'm going to put 5 drops of frankincense in this one, just because it is such a beautiful oil to have before bed. So, and I want it to smell a little bit more of the oil. As you can see, there's hardly any more frankincense left. I'm really excited to get my free frankincense this month. So that'll be coming soon. And there we go. And then the rest of it, I'll just pop in the coconut oil. I'm spilling it all over the place. So, oops. Okay. Once you've done that, you just pop on the lid, give it a little big push. And then that's it. And then you shake it up, and it's nice to leave it for a little bit, just sort of helps the oil to infuse. And there we go. And that's your oil. And then you can put it in a little gift bag. There's that company that I sent the link in. I think they've also got some nice stickers that you can stick onto here. You can stick different messages on the top. You can also stick something around the oil as well. So yeah, there we go. And what's really interesting to do is to find out what that person's favorite perfume is. Because what's really interesting is that there's so much science behind in the perfume industry. They've done so much research into why people buy certain smells. Like, it's ridiculous, like how much research they've gone into it so that they can sell more of this perfume, and they can put a higher price tag on it. So it'll be really interesting to see, if you're making for someone, what is it, what perfume do they like, and have a look at what's inside, and then use your oils, and then you can make them a beautiful pure of that smell, but you know that it's coming from a source which is pure, and it's going to be healing for them as well. So there we go. Okay, so I thought I would share with you, if I've got time, I thought I could share with you, and I'd write in the chat box late after 2 other blends that I thought are nice as well. Another one for somebody who's feeling quite stressed, and especially now with everything that's happened this year, a lot of people's adrenals, a lot of people's, people have been in fight and flight mode. We've been in a pandemic. So this is something that I've made before, and it works really nicely. 10 drops of geranium, 5 drops of basil, and 5 drops of frankincense. And having that in a roller ball, and having, you can rub that on the adrenal, so in the kidney area, for someone who's who's been quite stressed. So that's a nice one. Another one for women, for a bit of a hormonal one, a bit more of a flowery one. But you wouldn't give this to somebody who's pregnant because it has clary sage in it. 10 drops of clary sage, 5 drops of ylang ylang, and 5 drops of frankincense. And then, guys, just have a play. Be intuitive with what feels right for that person that you're making it for. And every time you create something, it's a different entity. It's a whole different smell. So it's going to be really interesting, whatever you create. So yeah, I hope that was helpful, and enjoy. And I think the person, is there any questions? Before I end?
No, just to say that was lovely, Af. It was so nice to hear you speak about all the different oils and the, setting intention. I think it makes all the difference, when there's that heart intention there. Mm-hmm.
Could I ask a very quick question? Sorry, it's Suzanne here. Thank you to Suzanne. Hi, that was really lovely, and I'm excited to try some of these things. I just wanted to ask, I know you were talking about the ebook. Is that specific to, I think it was Tara that was talking about her sort of things that she was making, or will we have the links for all of the things that we can buy on that ebook? And if so, where can we access the ebook?
I think it's going to be sent out after we finish the call, Suzanne, and everything that we've shared tonight will be on there.
Lovely, thank you so much.
Okay, so I think I'm going to hand over to the lovely Kate. She's got 2 fun things for us.
Hi guys, I'm having a few sound issues tonight, so you keep kind of cutting in or out. So we'll see how we go. If you can't hear me, Tara, will you make some sort of sign, and I'll just take my headset out and just talk into the computer, because it keeps kind of cutting out. Okay, so hopefully it will be okay. So I'm sharing with you 2 recipes. One that was planned and one that's a little bit of a rogue one that's sort of snuck in there because I made them last night. So luckily Tara allowed me to add them to the ebook. Okay, so my first recipe, everyone can hear me, yeah? My first recipe is my homemade mince pies. And I started making these because it's quite difficult to get the mince, the mince stuff here in Ibiza, and if you do, it's really overpriced, and I find that stuff a bit sugary anyway, and I don't really like it. So I decided to make my own variation, and they're based on a deliciously Ella recipe that I've kind of made a little bit easier, and I'm really rubbish with measuring, but I'll try my best. Okay, I kind of just chuck things in and see. Okay, so the first things you'll need are dried fruit. Now, what I tend to use are cranberries. They're a must. I use medjool dates, but you can use any dates. You don't have to use medjool, but they're always a bit more juicy. So I tend to use about 200 grams of sultanas, roughly, about 200 grams of cranberries, and then about 4 or 5 medjool dates or dates. And you can ad lib a little bit with this. So you can add some chopped apple, you can add some apricots, but the sultanas and the cranberries are kind of like a must, really. And then you can sort of add what's in your cupboard. So you put these in a pan, okay, about 200 grams of each, and then you cover with fresh orange juice, and then you just cook. Okay, so you cook away, let them come to the boil, and then just leave them to simmer. Okay, so you just want to leave them to simmer, keep an eye that they don't kind of get stuck in the bottom of the pan or whatever, and just give them a stir every now and again, and then you just leave those on. So that's the first thing. Then you want to make your pastry. And I tend to make spelt ones. My boyfriend doesn't like the spelt ones. He likes like naughty ones with butter, but I tend to make spelt ones with coconut oil that are vegan. But you can make a non-vegan version, but I'm going to talk about the vegan version. Okay, so you get your spelt flour, I don't know, about 200 grams. Again, I just kind of put it in a bowl, and then I add some warm water, a little tiny bit of warm water, and I add probably 3 to 4 tablespoons of coconut oil. Okay, and I warm the coconut oil so it's runny, And if you want the pastry really short, then you add more coconut oil. So maybe like 3 to 4 big tablespoons, heat it up, put that in, and a little tiny bit of warm water. And then you want to mix up your dough so it's not too sticky, it goes like a dough. And then you flour your board and go and check on your mince mixture so it's not burning. You flour the board and you just literally roll out the spelt mixture, really, really easy. And then you make it thin. And then you get a pan, like I have here, like one of these, little dish pan, whatever they're called. You put coconut oil in this. You don't have to worry about wax paper and all that rubbish, just a bit of coconut oil in there. You either get really organised and get some fancy little cutters, which I haven't got, right? I just use a cup. You go like this into your spelt flour. So you've got your little rounds of spelt flour. You push them into your little things. I could never have been on Blue Peter. I'm terrible. So you've got your little cake bits, okay? Then you pop those in the oven. You're still with me? You pop those in the oven for 10 minutes. You blind bake them, right? I forgot to tell you to turn the oven on. In the ebook recipe, all this information should be there. Oven about 170, 200. So you're blind baking those, and then you're going to take your mince mixture off of the heat. So let that just come off of the boil for a second, okay? Take it off of the heat. Then you're going to get a little cup or smaller cup, okay? And you're either going to make little lids, or you can make little lattices. Charles in hysterics. Why is it so funny? What have I done? So you could either make little lattices, or you can leave your little mince pies untopped, and that means it's less pastry. Or you can make little leaves or whatever you want to do. Tara's in hysterics. I don't know what I've done. Tara, what have I done to make you laugh so much? Anyway, so then you pop them. So then you take your mixture off of the heat, and then you want to add your oils. So I go quite heavy with the oils. Okay, so I add about 5 drops of clove oil, and then about 10 drops of wild orange. But that's quite heavy. That makes about 12 little pies. So what you might want to do is add a few drops of clove and some wild orange and taste it first, and just check that that's how you like it, because I'm a complete oil addict, so I like mine really strong, but you might not like it so strong. So just give it a little taste first. Then you're going to spoon your mixture. Okay, I'm going to show you some mixture. Don't know where that's gone. Spoon your mixture into your little pies. If you want to put your little lids or your little leaves or your little lattices on the top, then do. And pop them in the oven, basically until they're brown. And then you take them out. They don't look very nice, but I'm going to show you one I made earlier. This is what they look like. They don't look very impressive. My boyfriend's making noise. But you can sprinkle them, make them look much prettier. Tara's pissing herself laughing. Okay, you get my gist. Okay, moving on to another recipe. Any questions about pies? No questions. I don't know, Tara was literally wetting herself with laughter at my mince pies. So I'm going to move on to another recipe now after that. My tried and tested body butter recipe. Okay, is everyone still with me? Is everybody laughing? Tara's had to go because she's laughing so much. Okay, so I'm going to share with you this recipe of these body butters that look ever so pretty here, that I've kind of made look really nice and pretty. And Tara's going to share a little video of me making this in case I forget bits, which I might do. Okay, so first of all, you need some little jars. So you need some little mason jars like this. Again, I'm really bad with measurements, so these are, I think, 100 grams, these little mason jars. Or you can make like little ones, get like little 50-gram jars or 30-gram jars to make little stocking fillers. Okay, so the products that you need are solid coconut oil, so like the coconut oil that you eat, organic almond oil, and then I buy these 2 products: cacao butter, unrefined organic cacao butter, and unrefined organic shea butter. And I buy them from a company called The Soapery, they're quite reasonable. I buy kind of like big buckets and they last for ages. And I buy these big buckets. And then what you do is you get a bain marie, which I've got here. This is not a proper one, it's my own one. It's like I've got a metal one. You can get a glass bowl and you get a pan with heated water. So first of all, you want to put that heated water on so it's bubbling away. Then you want to get your shea butter and your cacao butter, and you're going to use a cup. So again, I don't really measure, so I just tend to use a cup of each, quite a, you know, sort of smallish size cup, and this makes probably about six jars of this size. So it's a cup of shea butter, a cup of cacao butter, a cup of solid coconut oil, and a cup of almond oil. Okay, so it's quite simple. So you chop up the shea butter, and then you chop up the cacao butter, and then pop that in your bain-marie and put it over the heat and let that start to melt. I give it a little stir every now and again, just let it melt. And then you're going to add in, once they've melted down, you're going to add in your coconut oil and your almond oil sort of at the end, and then get them all to mix together. Then you're going to take that off of the heat. And because the oils, the doTERRA oils, are therapeutic, we don't really want to put oils in boiling hot fluids, like boiling, bubbling sort of hot. So what I tend to do to speed this process up a little bit is I take, Tara's back, she's composed herself after that laughter. I take my little metal tin or your glass one and I put it in the freezer. So I take them off the heat, once they've all merged together, I take it off the heat and then I put it in the freezer just for like about 5 minutes until it's cool to touch, so you can touch the jar, and then I apply, and then I put my oils in. Okay, so when you're sort of new to blending and using oils, I recommend that you probably stick to 2 oils, just so that you don't kind of go crazy. And what I also recommend is that when you start, you just make 1 batch of 1 flavour. I tend to make 2 at once, but it can get a bit fiddly because you're making sure that you don't, you know, cross-contaminate if you're making a grapefruit and rosemary and a geranium and lavender. So if you just, when you first start, just make 1 type. So the type in my recipe, you can use lavender and frankincense as a really nice combination. Serenity works really well in body butters. Geranium works really well. Geranium and lavender, geranium and serenity. I've found that some oils, like vetiver, patchouli, balance, don't work so well. They're more subtle. You want oils that are a little bit stronger. So marjoram is good, rosemary, the citruses are also good, but obviously you need to be careful in the summer because they're photosensitive, okay? So you take your mixture out of the freezer and you're going to add your essential oil. So the mixture's runny. It's completely runny, but it's now cooler. So you're going to add your essential oils. Now, for a size about this big, I generally would work to probably about 15 to 20 drops of essential oils, depending on the oils. So what I would do would be work out how many you're going to make. So normally in this mixture that I've said, it's about six jars. So I would work out about 15 drops for each. And then take the mixture and put it on the back of your hand and have a little smell and see how strong it is for you. Again, you know, I go quite heavy with oils, but some people might want to go a lot less and go for like 10 drops. And some people might want to go for like 20, 25, depending on what oils you're using. So try it on the back of your hand and smell. But generally about kind of 15 to 20 drops per one of these, in my experience, is quite nice and strong, okay? So add your essential oils. You can take a little toothpick or a little lolly stick and then just give them a little mix up. And then you're going to put that mixture into the freezer. Okay, so you put it in the freezer and you can't go out and leave it. You have to keep an eye on it. And what happens is it starts to solidify around the edges. So leave it for about 15 minutes and then you'll see it solidifying. I take it out of the freezer then and get a fork and scoop it around. So I give the mixture a good squish around, and the middle is still liquid, but the outsides are a bit more solid, and I sort of move it away from the edges. Then I put it back in the freezer and I repeat this process a few times so that I'm mixing the oils through the body butter. And then finally, once I've done that a few times, I leave it in there to set. Now we don't want it, it's probably about 20 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, depending on your freezer. You don't want it to go too hard because it makes the whisking process quite difficult. So you sort of want to keep checking it. And as soon as it's completely solidified, I take it out and I break it down again with a fork. So really, really move it. And you always panic at that stage thinking, oh my God, I've not got enough body butter because it doesn't look like much. So you want to really give it a good scoop around. And then you want to move to the difficult bit, okay, the elbow grease bit. So this is the part where you do the whisking. So you can either go like hardcore using a whisk like this, which is quite a lot of elbow grease, Or you can use like, if you've got like a posh whisker, you can use that, or you can use like one of those little hand blenders. I've actually tried that, and it does work as well. You can sort of break it up a little bit more, but it's good to give it a little whisk to get the air into it, and then it goes like a souffle, kind of like a souffle consistency. But don't worry if it's still a little bit kind of solid, because you can always stick it back in the freezer for a few minutes and then give it another little whip up. So you want a nice kind of whipped consistency, okay? So once it's that nice whipped consistency, you're gonna start to spoon it out, and then you put it into your little jars like this. And when you first make it, it looks like really buttery and whippy, and then you pop it in your jars, leave a little bit of room kind of, and then you put it in the fridge to set a little bit more. And then leave it for like an hour or so till it's nicely set. Then I take the tops off, clean all the lids because it gets like a bit messy around the lids, put my labels on. So I generally put labels on here, and what I'll also do is put labels underneath as well. And then I get some brown paper and some string and put it over the top like this, and make sure you put your labels on the bottom, and that's it. And they're really nice. Everyone loves them. I'm getting a bit more experimental now with my flavours. And my pregnant mums love them. They use them as like body butters. Hence, I go quite low with the amount of oils that I generally put in for them. And we use them all the time, all year round. And it works out a really lovely gift. Yeah. So that's it. That's my body butters. Has anybody got any questions? I hope I remembered everything. There's a video that Tara's going to put in the ebook with everything in case I forgot. Has anybody got any questions or anything they want to ask? No? Perfect. So I'll hand over to Tara, who's going to share her gorgeous candles with you.
Okay. Brilliant. Thank you so much. I would have loved to have seen you on Blue Peter. So this is the last recipe of the evening, and beeswax candles, so simple. I'm going to give you a couple of different options in terms of like how to get your ingredients together. So really all you need is beeswax, which you can buy in Spain. If you're based in Spain, there's an online shop called Cremas Caseras. And you can buy that in the pellets that we've been speaking about this evening, or you can buy it also in sheets, like that look, you know, it looks like what you might find on top of honey sometimes, you know, with that lovely formation. Both are fine. Then you want your essential oils. You want some kind of jar to make the candles in. So, I mean, you can either recycle jars that you've got at home. Obviously, you know, you want to be taking the labels off, and you can use your lemon oil actually to take the labels off, because lemon is great at getting any kind of sticky stuff off windows or chairs or furniture. The only thing with jars like this is that you can see like the opening here is quite thin, and so by the time the wax melts down, it's actually really hard to light it again. So I prefer to use sort of more shallow jars like that, like the one that Kate's just shown you as well. And then they also have like a nice lid on, you know, and you've got the candle in there. So the other thing that you need are wicks. And so you've got two options in terms of wicks. You can either buy them online, and they've got this little metal thing there at the bottom, and you obviously would then cut them to size, or you can make them. And a really easy way to make them is just by getting, if you have wool at home, or if you knit or any kind of string, you just chop off a piece of string. You get all your old candles that still have a little bit of wax in, and you melt this wax, and then you dip the string, you coat, just like submerge the string in the wax. So it completely absorbs all the wax, and then you let it dry, and then that's your wick, basically. So that's a really cheap and easy way. So you can use recycled candles and string to make your wicks. You can use recycled jars for the container. And the only thing you're buying then is actually the beeswax. And then your oils, using your oils. So you know, obviously Christmas is a lovely time to be making your house like a little refuge, and, you know, lighting candles, having candles on the dinner table, in your meditation space. But a lot of the candles that we buy commercially are full of, you know, toxins and chemicals and things. So they're really not great to actually be breathing in and having in your airspace. Beeswax is a wonderful alternative, or if you prefer a vegan version, you can use soya wax. So it's super simple. Again, the old Bain Marie. I like to use a Pyrex measuring jug like this, because then you can see, because sometimes it's hard to know the amount of pellets or wax that you need. But if you know, for example, that you've got a container that is 50 ml or 100 ml, then you know that you can just look and see as you put the wax in and as it melts, you can measure up to here. So if you're only up to 50 ml, you can just add a few more pellets in, and then you see that you've got the correct amount of liquid. So do it on a slow heat, measure it on a slow heat. Like Tara was saying earlier, beeswax, it solidifies very quickly. So you need to be, once it's completely melted, you need to be quite quick with, you know, when you sort of start to pour it into the containers. And, you know, it is, I mean, it is quite difficult to clean this afterwards. So if you have a spare jug that you just use for making your creams and your candles and things, I recommend that. Otherwise, if you don't, then what you want to do is you want to wipe it out immediately with some kitchen roll while it's still semi-soft. Wipe it out immediately, get your washing up liquid in there immediately and give it a quick scrub. Otherwise it will solidify and it just leaves, you know, a few kind of marks in there. It's a little cleaning tip there. And then, so what I do, so I take it off the heat. You've got your quantity of wax in there. I mean, you can't let it cool too much, but ideally you want to let it cool a little bit before adding your oils in. And the oils that I've used for my candles are the On Guard. So the On Guard is a favorite. It also smells really Christmassy, so it's lovely to add in to your oil, to your candle mixture. And again, you know, you can experiment with different quantities, but I made, for example, I made 2 like this, and I put, it's probably between 10 and 15 drops of essential oil in each candle. So you're looking, if you're making candles of 100 ml, you know, maybe between 10 and 15 drops per candle, okay? And you can also, you know, add in a bit more if you're kind of, you know, you've got it in the pot and you can't, you know, you feel like you can't quite smell it. But the thing is that it is in there and the intention is there, and when you do light it, you will get these lovely smells. So On Guard has got clove, cinnamon, wild orange, rosemary, and eucalyptus in there. It's antibacterial, so when the candle is lit and those oils are released into the air, it's actually going to be helpful in cleansing bacteria from the air. The other oil that I like to put in there is frankincense, and frankincense is obviously, we have this kind of association of frankincense with holy temple spaces, the church. So for me, it's like, it reminds me of India a lot. And I love it in candles for meditation or doing yoga. So again, you know, you can put your frankincense in there. Other lovely oils to use in candles are some of the tree oils. So like cedarwood, for example. You could use myrrh. Myrrh's, you know, very deep, rich smell as well. Or kind of some more fresher, like, you know, like Naioli is actually a really nice oil to use. Naioli is quite similar to tea tree, but it's got more of a eucalyptus smell to it. So it's kind of fresh and clean smelling. That can go really nicely as well. And remember that this month, the month of December, frankincense comes free if you have a 200 PV order with doTERRA. So just to remember that. So you've got your wax and essential oil blend. Let's imagine that I'm using this this jar. You want to pop your wick in the center, okay? And what's useful, you know, those kind of plastic clips that you use to close, I don't know, like cheese packets or, you know, crisp packets or anything, any of those like clips that we use to kind of store food, you can clip the wick in place so it stays in the middle so your fingers aren't anywhere near the hot wax. And then you just pour it in, and that's it. And you let it set. And trimming, you know, you trim the wick to the correct length, and that is it. It's so simple. It takes 5 minutes. I mean, it's super low cost, especially if you're making your own wick and you're recycling old jars. You know, you can obviously buy beautiful jars online, and you can buy the wick. I found, I mean, obviously Amazon has everything, but if you know, trying to avoid buying from Amazon and, you know, trying to support other shops, I found that some of the other companies weren't as quick with delivery. So if you do want to make these then before Christmas, then get your orders in quite quickly, but otherwise just make them at home. I think that's it. Are there any questions about the candles?
Did you say, Tara, that you can make the wick from just cotton?
Yeah.
Really?
So,
yeah, because the other ones are with wax, aren't they?
Yeah, but so what you would do, any of your old candles that you have, you dig out the wax, you melt it, and then you dip the cotton in the wax so it completely absorbs the wax. You let it dry, and then you have this kind of waxy cotton string here, and it will solidify as well. So then you can just pop it. The only thing you don't have is the metal thing on the bottom, but it's not, you know, that metal bit is not essential.
It's just to keep it in place, isn't it, in the bottom? I guess you can reuse the ones that from the old ones.
You can try. I haven't tried that myself, because I just ended up buying some because I was making quite a few. I just ended up buying them. But yeah, you know, or clip it in place from the top, and then it just sort of hangs in the jar in the center, hopefully.
Right.
So, you know, all the gifts that we've spoken about this evening, they're all really low cost, really easy. You know, you should be able to find all the ingredients, a lot of ingredients locally, and if not online, wherever you are in the world. And, you know, we had a lot of other ideas, obviously, but we wanted to just give you a few things to be inspired by, so you can use your oils. As we mentioned earlier, we're going to send out a link with an ebook so that you can all see these lovely recipes and where to buy the products from. Are there any questions before we finish? Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks to all our lovely presenters.
Thank you.
And yeah, any questions, just contact the person that invited you to this class. If you are going to make an order from doTERRA, I would do it as soon as possible to make sure it arrives before Christmas. So really you want to be, you know, ordering by Monday, really, the 14th, to make sure you get your oils before Christmas. And just contact any of, you know, the leaders on this call, and they can help inform you about these ingredients and oils.
Thank you, Tara, for making our ebook.
Yeah, thank
Tara
you,
Mestra.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All right. Happy Christmas, everyone. Happy holiday season.
Happy Christmas.
And you know, here's
Happy
to
Christmas. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Mhm.